wasn't really surprised by it. And it was one of those where you didn't know what to expect. It's first in ever mid-season trade or any trade in general, really. You count unless you count a signing trade, which I don't know if I do or not. But it was definitely interesting, just because you didn't know, like, when will I come to Charlotte? When will I be playing? Like, it's all the things you don't really have grasp of, but you try and control what you control and bring in the right energy with wherever you come into a new situation. So I'm just excited to be here, excited to be home, excited to be around friends, family, loved ones, and excited to build something here in Charlotte.
Hey, Greg, Scott O'Connell with Sports Illustrated. Did you ever see yourself, being from Charlotte, did you ever think this could be a possibility for you?
Yeah, I always thought it would be at the end of my career, but it's kind of funny that it happened this way, because it allows you to be a part of something that can be built from the ground, and something that, new ownership, new team, a bunch of guys who are young and talented, you have a chance to build something special here in the city. And I remember back when Bring Back the Buzz was actually a thing. I remember I was in high school at Providence Day and talking about, switching from the Bobcats to the Hornets. So I remember seeing it. I remember watching Kemba. I remember watching those guys play. So it's special coming home. It's a really unique opportunity, and you just got to take full advantage of it.
What was your family's reaction whenever they heard it?
As you expect, your mom and your grandparents and everybody's super excited. You have to set early boundaries because you're home, but at the same time you're blessed to be around family and blessed to see them, because grandparents getting old, have a chance to really spend time with the ones that loved you from the beginning, and you have a chance to continue to develop those relationships and see all the close friends that you had when you were here. So it's gonna be fun.
Hey, Greg, Will, you get excited. Just wanted to ask with you, you're 25 years old, but you're already kind of one of the older guys on this team. So with it being a young team here, what do you feel like you can bring with just your experience so far from Boston and from Dallas?
Yeah, number one thing is just professionalism. Really coming in with the right mentality of doing everything the right way, whether it's coming in on time, being able to be here and present, being able to get an extra work at night. Just lead them in a way that I was led when I first got into the league, and just a sense of security and communication, because we're all at the same age, we're all surrounded by the same temptations, same energies. So being able to give that guiding mindset of saying what's important, being able to understand that basketball's got to come first. That's the kind of the name that I got from Chris Paul when I first got into the league, is keep basketball as a priority, because without any of it, without basketball, you don't have anything else on the outside that you enjoy or want to celebrate with and do. So making sure that we prioritize winning, prioritize playing team basketball, and prioritize being for one another, because no one's going to be able to experience the things that we experience in this life, because they're not going to be in the same position. So you have a sense of brothers here that you can rely on and trust.
Grant, like I said, from Charlotte Sports Live, I apologize I stepped in a little late here, but you're a guy that plays the four. You're playing against guys that are much taller than you a lot of times. Give me some tips here. How do you play big? How do you manage to hang in there?
Yeah, it just starts with physicality. Really, the number one thing about this league is it's not matter how tall you are. You see, this league is now switched to a little more pace and space, and smaller lineups that can switch, and same size guys who are willing to compete. So just being able to be mindful that no matter if you're the smallest guy on the court or the biggest, you have to really go out there and be present and be a person that no one can waver, be able to say that he wasn't here tonight, be a person that people always understand the impact that you're making, even if it doesn't show up in the stat sheet. So for me, that's all I focus on, is just the physicality, making sure that I play with the right energy, make sure I play with the right intensity, and everything takes care of itself.
Grant, I got a couple of questions for you. So your family is in Charlotte right now. They've been in Charlotte. This is still home for everyone.
Absolutely, everybody.
Okay. Will they all get the game tonight?
Yeah, let's just say mom got a little zealous and did a suite or something. I don't know what she's doing.
Did you need to?
I didn't have to do any of them. I already started that from the beginning. I said, listen, I'm home. I get 4 tickets to every game. Y'all got to figure out what we're doing. But at the same time, you want to make sure that your family's there and be able to support and love. So it's gonna be good to be able to have them here. Each night, whether it's all of them or whether it's some of them, and maybe they get tired of coming to the games. That's what I got told about. I think it was Kemba told me that when he was here. He said that eventually there's going to come to a point where they say, "I've seen enough basketball, so watch you on TV." So it'll be fun.
Was Kemba your favorite player watching the Hornets when you were growing up?
Absolutely, he's a mentor to me, but he's also a teammate and a brother, and somebody that I will always constantly rely on. And he's a person that, if you guys have been around him, one of the most cheerful energies, has a personality that lights up the room, and I'm blessed to be out of the relationship that I have with him, the friendship, and I'm just thankful to be able to hopefully take this organization to where he was trying to take it.
Last question for you, just with Seth coming as well, having a familiar face here, and both of you being from here. Did you guys talk about that at all? Is it kind of cool just being able for both of you to come out?
Absolutely. We talked about it on the plane. We talked about it in the car. It's exciting because like you said, we're surrounded by friends, family, even Seth. We have Mr. Curry in the back right there, and it's funny because we always talk about the golf that we could potentially have and the fun times, but also understanding that this is something that as a kid you always wanted to play for your hometown team. You always wanted to create something special here because as a kid. You wanted give the same joy that you had from when you were that age. So we're here to provide that. We're here to provide that professionalism and that discipline, and we're excited to take on this challenge.
Last time you're wearing the number 2, is that just because it was available?
Oh no, number 2 has been my number since young age. It's something that's very real similar for me. I've always wanted to wear it in the league. In Boston, it was retired. In Dallas, I came there too late. So coming here, I was able to get back to the number that I really love, and there's a lot of background behind it. That's the story.
Grant, nice to meet you. We talked about the pace and space in the NBA. Can you just talk about your game, being able to excel without the ball in your hands, and how you can kind of serve as an ancillary piece to this team?
Yeah, the best thing I'll say is just being a person that can be a hub, but also be a person that if he doesn't touch the ball, can make an impact. And that's really my mentality is just if I get the touches, if I have the ability to create and make better plays for either myself or others, I'll do that. And if it's a game where I don't touch it, then guess what? I got to defend, lock up, and be a person that not only just walks the walk, but if he's going to talk, he really steps up.
Who's your biggest influence as far as leadership? I mean, you're 25 years old, you're walking into a locker room. They have some stars, but they're younger, and they need somebody to step up and talk. Who was the guy that you relied on earlier in your career?
I've always been pretty talkative from the start. But fortunately enough, I had a bunch of guys who, Blake Griffin, Al Horford, Kemba, a bunch of guys who, and at the time we were all the same age, so JT, JB, and we were all able to just communicate with one another in a direct way. And that's kind of how we are here. It's like I might be considered older, but I've played against some of these guys in college. I've played against some of these guys in high school. So having that level of respect for one another as players, but also being able to hold one another accountable, because our ultimate goal here has to be winning. It's got to be priority. It's got to be the main focus. Always, the what's the saying that the big tide, whatever it is, where you have everybody wins when everyone goes together. When you do it individually, you could average 25 points individually on a, quote, losing team and then not get the contract you want. So when you're winning, it takes care of a lot of things, even if you're averaging 6 points. And that's something that I've learned even just in my past experience. I was in Boston for 4 years, and I averaged, I think, 6 points or 7 points over my career, and I was able to get a comfortable contract that can take care of my life and my family's life. So understanding that and teaching that, no matter if you have 26 points or if you have 4 points, if we won the game, that's got to be the main priority and focus. And then trust that just because you have 4 points this night doesn't mean you won't have a game where you go off and we're going to rely on you the next night. This a game of 82 games here in this NBA. So there's going to be a bunch of opportunity, a bunch of potential. So just focus on the number one priority.